Today marks a momentous occasion.
I'm ready. You're not ready, but I'm ready.
Let me have some water. Today marks a momentous occasion on our channel. We are starting our series,
How to have a mother-daughter sex talk.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you ever asked me about sex?
Probably when I missed the sex ed video. I was like, what am I missing, Mom?
Yeah, that was like in 5th grade.
It happened twice, I missed it.
I have to be honest and tell you that I think I deliberately kept you out of school for the first video. I felt it was too early. It was a little too early. I knew what the video was going to be going over.
I would have known so much more going into middle school.
Abby, as it was, you had already gone through that drug prevention series, which the drug prevention series taught her more how to use drugs.
First you take the drug, then you light the drug up. Now kids, don't do this.
And at that time, you hadn't asked me any questions yet about sex, really.
Why would I think to?
No, but some kids do, and that's the first point. At whatever age your child is asking questions, that's the age you got to start talking about it. And at that point, you hadn't shown any interest or any knowledge
Props
of it.
to me.
Again, the nunnery. It was right there, her destiny, right back then. And I just thought, I don't think you need it yet. There wasn't any reason yet. And I would say that by 12, 13, you were starting to ask questions. Some kids will ask questions because they'll ask it no matter what. It's just their personality and they're not afraid. Some kids won't ask questions. And in particularly, you have to take into account how approachable the mom is. Try to be unshockable. Try not to show in your face any questions that are asked that they're, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're asking this. You have to remember that your child is a sexual being as well as a person. It's hard. It's hard for parents to feel that way and understand that, but think of every person as a whole person. They've got a body, mind, soul, and spirit. They've got a self-identity that they deal with, plus an identity that they get from what they perceive from other people. And you do not want to add to their hang-ups about sex, nor do you want to add to, in the case with you back in 5th grade, you don't need to add to their interest in it if it's not there yet. You don't want to awaken it, But as far as asking about actual sex, I don't even remember what your first questions were.
I don't feel like I really had any, except like maybe one day I was just like, Mom, all these kids keep talking about this sex thing.
Right.
I probably didn't really care to know exactly. I was just like, why do they keep talking about it? Like, what's the big deal?
But I think the thing is that I began talking about it with you. I would bring it up in conversation when you were an early teenager. And I would try to show you that, share things that would show you that it's a natural part of life and it's a natural part especially of marriage. And of course that's our position, that sex belongs within marriage. You may not feel that way, but that's the position we're coming from. So we're talking about it in terms of how to get your kids comfortable with the topic and get you as the mom especially comfortable talking about it with your daughter or with your son if you happen to be watching this video thinking of your son. You may not remember your first question, but I think you do remember asking questions, though, after we started talking about it. And maybe because I brought up with you the very first talk I ever had with my mom. And it wasn't really good. It wasn't a good talk. It was kind of, my mother was from a different era, and she had different hang-ups, so her thing was mainly an admonishment not to do something, And that was it. I remember at the time thinking as a teenager, I knew more than my mom was trying to tell me. I had already heard and learned all of this from other people. That's why we're doing this video. Because I had already learned about sex from everybody but my mother. So, and some of it was good information and some of it wasn't. So if you want to be a mom and you want to be the first person to introduce the subject and talking about it, the best thing
You're
you
setting
can do,
the tone by
you're
being
setting
the
the
first
tone.
person.
Yeah, be approachable. I think, did you feel like you could talk to me about anything after a while?
Yeah, I felt like I could just kind of ask you random questions, like you're like my Google. Because I didn't want to go on Google because
You never knew what
I
you
never
were
knew what
find.
to find, so
Yeah.
it was too scary.
Would you say that you did learn a lot from your friends though in
Yeah,
high
I
school?
think more than I wanted to know sometimes.
And some of the things, and you came home and you would share with me the
Yeah.
things that she would share with me, the things that she
Yeah.
had learned from her friends, just them talking about it. And actually what you had learned was specific, what you would call technical knowledge, or the
Like
actual
terms even. I just didn't
yeah.
even know like what some things
Yeah.
were. I was just like, what is that?
And I think the thing is, when you were talking about, some of the things that you had heard that the girls were doing, I think you were kind of turned off about it, because outside of the context of love and outside of the context of marriage, kind of seemed like a raw
Yeah, and I think
act, didn't it?
yeah, and I think I just kept seeing how like the relationships would like break up, and I'm like, well then you just did that with someone, and now you're like not even with the person, and it's just like.
So
I think the idea of it was just like upsetting too.
that was more upsetting than the actual act, you're saying?
Well, it was the combination.
Yeah. So, what do you wish that you had learned at a younger age? I mean, right now you're 21,
Yeah.
you're not married, and you are still a virgin. And so you haven't really had to know
Yeah.
specific sexual information, except for, we talked about in our other video, the Tim Tebow sex and how far should I go.
Yeah.
That's a great video to watch if you want to talk to your your child or a friend even, about what are your values and how far will you go physically in a sexual relationship or in a
I think it's
relationship.
good, no matter where you're coming from, to set your own boundaries with what you're comfortable with. And I think talking about boundaries with your kids is really important. But telling them that they should feel comfortable drawing the line for themselves.
You want to communicate. If you're going to communicate anything, you want to be unshockable, you want to be approachable. And then the third point is you want to be optimistic. And you don't want to paint a picture that sex is something negative, something dirty, something too technical, something painful. What you want to paint a picture is of the right place and the right setting where sex is a beautiful thing, where it is a just the miracle that it is. It really is. Because I have to be honest, I had some missing points in my biology class with Abby. I had to rehearse. I mean, I had to refresh my memory as far as, the whole reproductive system. I didn't even know. I needed to watch the video in 5th grade. And that's where you can also talk about the steps leading to sex.
Yeah.
Or I guess, we used to call them the bases. Now, I don't know if you still call them the bases. First, second.
I don't think anybody to this day knows what the bases are. Like, what are the freaking bases? Because everyone has a different thing. Because it used to be a lot more simple.
Well, we hope this video helped you today to either get the conversation started with somebody that you need to have the conversation with, or maybe fill in a few pieces of information. Not that we gave you anything technical today, that is still coming.
Stay tuned for more videos from us on this lovely topic, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.